what's up? Boom, boom, boom. Nice to see ya, nice to see ya. That's one of the articles we're going to talk about. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. This is Tarabuster Thursdays. We meet here Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Friday. So, you know what you got to do. Okay? Hit the like and subscribe. Share the show with your friends. How's it sounding? How's it looking? Check out Charlie's APS Radio News. Support our sponsors, like Charlie from APS Radio. If you can afford to become a patron, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to e-beg right out of the gate. And, yeah, just share. Okay, this is how we keep the liberal media going and growing and get the word out. And this is how we're going to save this country from fascism. I'm not just putting it mildly here. It's the truth. Look at the history of pushing back authoritarians. And if we don't have the media, if we don't have independent media, like what you're looking at, we won't have a shot. So if you guys saw the show the other day with Olivia Troy, that was incredible. She was she's an amazing patriot and gave us a glimpse inside Trump's White House. She uses the proper terminology, in my opinion. She calls them evil. What she witnessed was evil, and she described it. So if you haven't watched that episode yet, it's the one before this one. It's on the Substack. It's on the Political Voices YouTube. I suggest you check it out because I'm still processing everything she said. Being so close to Trump and the maladministration, and how she described it as what she was witnessing, that they weren't trying to help the American people. Remember, this was during COVID. And Olivia Troy's in there trying to save her fellow Americans from needless death. And here comes the White House not giving a shit, really. All they care about is Trump's approval rating. They're not stepping up to the moment, that's for sure, because they don't care. They're in government to make themselves rich, and they don't care who dies in the process, as Trump says himself. And if nothing is more emblematic of this than the latest New York Times piece about what went on in the White House when they were dealing with the Jeffrey Epstein files, the fallout to the Epstein files. We're just going to go over it a little bit. Where is it? Yeah. And when I was reading it, I thought other presidents use the Situation Room for war, national crises, things that matter. But this White House, using the Situation Room, gathering all their minions, lickspittles, and enablers together, to come up with some kind of rationale or some kind of media way they're going to defeat the fact that Trump is all over the Epstein files committing crimes against children. And they use the Situation Room because it speaks volumes about what they're in government for. They're not in government to help the American people or save the American people or protect us from harm. Clearly, they're in there to cover their own asses, make themselves as rich as possible, and keep the American people stupid enough to continue to vote Republican. Whoever's left voting Republican. So, and they should be ashamed. But the fact that they do that, they have no shame. They could have easily had these meetings in the Oval Office or somewhere else. Anywhere in the White House. You have to have it in the Situation Room, which says it all. Says it all, what they're dealing with. So their team met in the Situation Room, according to the New York Times. Oh, the fake news, though, right? It's such fake news that the Republicans are denying it, and it's all bullshit. Of course, they're bullshit. They're liars. Of course, this happened. Trump's team met in the Situation Room in 2025 to manage the political damage from the Epstein files. Not any national security crisis. They knew that Trump's name appears in the FBI interview notes with Epstein's witnesses and victims, and Trump personally ordered them not to release anything because he knows what's in there. He participated. He is the perpetrator. He knows what he did. He knows what he is. Sadly, millions of Americans couldn't have figured it out sooner than this. How can you not figure it out? When that thing came down the escalator calling Mexicans rapists, anyone with a clue, who's not a racist, who's not a dupe, who has any kind of understanding of history, knows that, oh, we've seen this movie before, and it doesn't end well. The last time, and not too long ago, 80 years ago, when a wannabe dictator vilified a targeted minority group, it ended up the world had to put 85 million Americans, and, well, not Americans, human beings, in their cold early graves. 85 million Americans, God help us if Trump gets anywhere near that number. Not for lack of trying. He is trying, that's for sure. So he would have no problem putting millions of Americans. I mean, he left the office. He slunk out of office despite trying to steal the election. In the first maladministration, he left the Oval Office through the back door because he's such a bitch. He's such a whiny little baby that he couldn't attend the inauguration because he's not man enough. He's not man enough. But the last time he left 1 million Americans in their cold early graves. This time, we'll see. You know, with the screw worm and all the other polio, measles making a comeback, and now he wants to send Americans into harm's way in Iran to take over the island. It's not Epstein Island. Maybe they want to turn it into a new Epstein Island, Carcus or something, and he wants to send our soldiers into harm's way because it's not him in harm's way. It won't be him taking the hits. It won't be him putting his friends, like he has any, into a body bag to ship home. It'll be American soldiers who he considers his playthings, his toys. We're all his toys. Don't you understand? We pay our taxes, and he thinks those tax dollars are for him to build monuments to himself. The worst human being on the planet, the most unfit, the most disgusting. Everyone knows it. Only Trump could make the Iranians seem like the rational actors in this debacle that he started, this war of choice and distraction from the fact that he's all over the Epstein files committing crimes against children. So this is in the New York Times piece. The DOJ and the FBI first tried to shut this down with a memo claiming that there was no client list. We remember. You see, they like to play games with people. We're going to release the Epstein files. The Epstein files are sitting on my desk. Don't you worry. It's all coming out until Trader Trump says, wait, well, hold up a minute here. I'm palling around with the pedo. I'm the one that wrote him a birthday card of some kind of dismembered prepubescent child illustration. It's so disturbing, where he says, I hope every day is a wonderful secret. What secret would that be? With your disembodied, dismembered illustration of a barely developed female form. What would that be? What's your wonderful secret? May every day be a wonderful secret. How sick and disgusting. Yeah, it's really disturbing, but okay, but people voted for it. That's what's more disturbing, frankly, and I'm sick of it. I wish that, the people who voted for this, you gotta get the help you need, really. It's very sad. Being a right-wing dupe is a very pathetic way to go through life, to spend one's limited lifespan being the eager dupe of a con man. That's pretty sad, right? So, Vice President J.D. Vance pushed conspiracy-flavored ideas, because that's what they do to the American people. They want to twist people's minds. They like when the American people don't trust each other, don't trust government, that they're conspiracy-addled, then they're all confused. They waste our life. You say this is how much respect they have for the American people. They're not trying to calm things or unify us. They're trying to twist people into all kinds of paranoia so they can continue to steal and commit crimes. And if that means covering up for their standard bearer committing crimes against children, so be it. They have no line. The line, every time they hit bottom, the trap door opens and they go spiraling further down into Dante's fifth circle of hell and dragging us with them, unfortunately. So Vice President Vance pushed conspiracy-flavored ideas, including dumping all the files and even having Tucker Carlson interview Ghislaine Maxwell from prison. See? Because Tucker Carlson, he's a propagandist. Mini Goebbels, he might as well be. They're all in on it. The Epstein class. What are we going to do? We're going to circle the wagons. We're going to lie to the American people. We're going to twist and confuse them so we can continue to smash and grab their tax dollars. And if that, and like I said, if that means allowing Trader Trump to get away with all of his crimes, that's fine. You see, the difference between Democrats, the normal people, and Republicans, because this would never go on in the Democratic Party. And we say whatever you will about the Democrats. They frustrate me, as I'm sure they frustrate you. But both sides are not the same. That is the truth. Both sides? First of all, we would never have a standard bearer that called Mexicans rapists, that started a campaign on racist hate. That would never happen. And we would certainly not allow someone who's all over the Epstein files committing crimes against children to continue in the halls of power, to continue holding the party as its leader. No way. That would not happen. So the DOJ and FBI first tried to shut it down with a memo claiming that there was no client list. And then the Tucker Carlson brainstorm. No bad ideas in the brainstorm. Just bad people with bad malintention for the people they pretend to represent. The administration's priority was shielding Trump and dodging subpoenas, not following the Epstein Files Transparency Act or leveling with the public. But we're just here to toil in the fields and compliantly await our rewards in heaven while they glom up all the earthly rewards, the Epstein class. And they turned the Situation Room into a PR bunker for a sex trafficking scandal. Think about that. Think about that. Think about how they hounded Bill Clinton. Oh, Bill Clinton, because of Monica Lewinsky and all that. And yeah, that's the other thing about Democrats. If Bill Clinton, because the Republicans were like, well, Bill Clinton's in the Epstein files. Okay, if he's in there committing crimes against children, he needs to pay for those crimes. No Democrat says otherwise. So, release the Epstein files. Let's see it. But of course, yeah, the no client list thing was pure gaslighting. This is all they have. And then, of course, it backfired. And then they issued a, the joint memo insisting there was no client list, meant to shut down the conversation and take the pressure off releasing the documents. That is a law. They need to release the documents, but you see how Republicans follow the law, right? This is the adults, right? Vote for us, the adults. So, as the New York Times reports, Trump didn't just benefit from the cover-up. He drove it. He ordered it. Trump made it abundantly clear that he didn't want any of the Epstein information released, and he snapped at anyone who brought it up. Even though he signed it into law, well, because he knew. It doesn't matter what he signs. It doesn't matter that he puts his hand up and takes an oath to the Constitution. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a complete and utterly bankrupt con man, a moral bankruptcy, a bankruptcy of decency. There's none of that. Nothing good in this administration. And it's not me saying it. We just heard from Olivia Troy 2 days ago, where she confirmed it. She worked with these people. There's no altruism. There's not an altruistic bone in their bodies. And they are evil. That's how she put it. And it is evil when you're deliberately deceiving your fellow Americans, when you're trying to twist them and divide them and lie to them and hurt them, where hurting them doesn't factor into any of your policies. You're like, hey, let's not do this. This hurts the American people. The American people don't want it. They want, they don't want, for example, we'll get to the Social Security story. They don't want Social Security to be handed to Wall Street. They don't want that kind of stress in their lives, where if you retire or something happens to you and you need to rely on Social Security, you better hope there's a boom in the market and not a crash. You better hope. But yeah, they don't care that the American people don't want Republicans to privatize Social Security or Medicare. Just like we played the clip of, what's his name, Ted Cruz. Not too long ago we were talking about how the Trump accounts, he admitted it to a room of billionaires and donors, the donor class that shouldn't exist in a democracy. How he said that Trump accounts were their camel's nose under the tent. That's their backdoor way of privatizing Social Security. That's the plan here. They don't care that the American people don't want that. That's exactly what he said to the people when, these rich people that he was talking to. Republicans, when they talk to rich people, they talk to donors at these conventions and gatherings, it's like they forget that they're being recorded and that we will hear these recordings. They're not going to hear them on Fox News, of course, because Fox News exists to make people stupid enough to vote for these charlatans, these horrible monsters, legally and peacefully. Like look at the way they're attacking James Tallarico. Oh, he's not masculine. Every word in his to describe. That's what Ted Cruz is. If you think of words to describe James Tallarico, none of which would be masculine. I guess that's a subjective observation, like Ted Cruz is so masculine. What's the meaning of masculinity? What does it mean to be a man? It means to be a dick, somebody who flees to Cancun when your community needs you, when your community's in crisis and this horrible ice storm is coming and people are losing power, and you get your well-padded ass, your well-fed ass out of Dodge. You gotta run, because you don't want to stay in that cold and do things to help people. You want your ass in the beach. Right? He even left his dog behind. That poor thing. Is that masculine? That's what it means to be masculine. How about when the worst human being on the planet, Trader Trump, who you know is a con man, who you called a con man before you genuflected to him, how about when he calls your wife ugly in front of the world? Is it masculine to say nothing about it and then go lick his feet? Is that what masculinity is to the Republicans? Is that, when you're... I just don't understand that. If your spouse has such little respect for you, how does Heidi Cruz, is that her name, right? How does she allow him into her bed, if she does? Who knows? After he allows, he says nothing. Yeah, I guess my wife is ugly. Right, I guess, because we want, what do you want? What do you want from this con man? You want power, money, access. See how it switches? He's not like Olivia Troy, because Olivia Troy is a patriot, a human, someone who cares about her country and community. She left the maladministration. She took the hits for it. They're still attacking her. They're still trying to sue her all over town. That's what happens when you stand up to the monsters. Is that masculine, Ted Cruz, to lay down and become a doormat for somebody who is destroying this country? And mocks your, what do you call it? He said it's not just mocking. He said your father was involved with the JFK assassination. More conspiracies, pouring more conspiracies into the conspiracy-addled brain cells of the MAGA cult. But yeah, I have a little bit of a different view of masculinity. I think most normal people do. Being a man is just like being a human. You're not an asshole to people. You're not a bully. You're not a liar, a sycophant, a lickspittle to bullies and liars, right? I think that would be pretty masculine. To stand up like Olivia Troy. I mean, she's more masculine than Trader Trump and Ted Cruz. She left the White House. She warned the American people. She left to warn the American people what was going on in the White House, in the coronavirus task force, which wasn't doing F all for the American people. That's why we had such a abysmal response to the pandemic. That's why the death rate in the United States was the worst in the developed world. Everything he does, everything the Republicans do, they suck at it. They destroy. They make it worse. People die. Needless death, needless suffering. That's all they do, is make things worse. But of course, the rich get richer. That's for sure. Yeah, so what went on in that Situation Room, I don't know how anybody votes for these people, especially maggots who are like, release the Epstein files, release the Epstein files. Okay. Now they're in the Situation Room coming up with ways to block the Epstein files. Because why? It's a hoax? That's what you do for a hoax? You gather all your minions, you gather your lickspittles and enablers in a secure bunker to come up with a strategy for a hoax? So they basically confirmed everything we already know about Trump in the Epstein files. They confirmed it. God knows what else is in there. Really? Oh, and there was some kind of thing about how Trump's got like a nipple fetish. And J.D. Vance said, well, there's worse. He'll be fine with the nipple fetish. Well, what if those nipples are on 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds? All right, but J.D. Vance, he's a good Christian, he says. They always say what good Christians they are. They always say what good patriots they are. Right? They always tell us what good Christians they are because they could never show us. We never see it in their actions. They always got to tell us. So, yeah. Unreal, but not unexpected. They use the room where presidents decide war and peace to protect a guy who once said that Epstein likes beautiful women on the younger side. Right, to protect his relationship, his best pal. It's a wonderful thing to have a pal, Trump says in his birthday card, right? MAGA spent years screaming, release the Epstein files. What about now, JD? I don't know. Maybe the deep state? Where's that deep state when you need it? This isn't just hypocrisy. I mean, hypocrisy is the wind beneath Republican wings. This is the entire apparatus of the state being deployed to shield the worst human being on the planet from any association with a child sex trafficker, while the cult pretends that he's going to root out all the sex trafficking. He's there. He's the storm. He's going to save us all. All right, moving on to, I mean, it's all connected. I have a few things on the list here. I wrote an article for the Political Voices Network, and I just want to go over it a little bit. It's about Mike Johnson and the Republicans caught on tape. A little bit. Oh, wait. I heard myself just now in my ears. Yeah, so they were caught on tape, Mike Johnson. Wait, do I have the right thing here? I don't have the right page up. Hold on, guys. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Caught on tape talking about how they're going to deal with Social Security, how next year they have a plan. Republicans have hated Social Security since FDR signed it into law. As we know, there's probably many reasons for that, because they want that money. They want our money. And Social Security belongs to everyone. They don't like that. You know, it's communism, that's wokeism, that's e pluribus unum, that's the general welfare. They hate that. They want us nice and divided. They want to be able to step over Granny as she's, I don't know, selling apples on the street, like in the good old days of the Dark Ages that they want to drag us back to. That's what they mean when they talk about the good old days, where the rich run and rule and everybody else awaits their rewards in heaven. That's why they want to separate, or whittle away, I should say, the separation between church and state. They want us to go to church. If you fall on hard times, go to the church. But Republicans, they still talk about this. There are clips of Charlie Kirk saying this shit that we've talked about on the show before. This is their ideology. They're ideologues. They're not altruists. They're not in government to make it function. They are in government to inflict their bad ideas on it, regardless, because to them, it's about dragging us back to the Dark Ages. That's the end of the story. Look at their policies. They're dragging us back to the times that the founders fought a revolution to escape. And that's it. With a rich run and rule, everybody else knows their place. You have a problem, you go to the church. Education is a providence of the rich. You get as much as you can afford. You toil in the field. You don't pester your betters because you don't expect a seat at the table. They have all the earthly rewards cornered for themselves, and we'll get ours in heaven. That's it. Don't bother them. Just pay your taxes, shut up, and every now and then maybe somebody will hit the lottery, somebody will be that success story, the exception that proves the rule, and they'll say, see, the system's not broken, you are. Work harder, work 3 jobs, work 4 jobs. That's it. Yeah, church and state intertwined. All of these policies, it's not a coincidence that they're the policies that existed in the dark ages. That's the good old days to them. Oh, we'll get to it. So they've hated Social Security since FDR signed it into law. Wait a minute, I can't. Oh, I'm not signed in here. Son of a bitch. Here we go. Here he is on tape. This is Mike Johnson.
And then we're going to lead up to what we have to do and address. The largest spending items, the reason we're in trouble is because over 74% of federal spending is on autopilot, mandatory spending. That's your entitlement programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and then things like Social Security. They have to be adjusted and fixed. We have a plan to do that next year, and it's critical.
Critical. Plan to do it next year because they don't want any voters having a feeling about it and paying them back by voting against them. And you notice they're not running on this. They're not saying, vote for us, we have a plan to fix, quote unquote, Social Security. Well, we have a plan to fix Social Security. And there's no fix really needed. What's fixed is raise the cap. And then we expand Social Security. We raise Social Security, people get more of it. You get to have a decent retirement. And if you fall on hard times, if you get disabled, you're not struggling. We got you. Because there's always enough for illegal war and Trump's vanity projects, right? They never question that. The ballroom, the arch, every other bullshit, all the bullshit that he's robbing from the Treasury, this disgrace on the White House lawn, 2 men beating the shit out of each other for Commodus. He might as well be Commodus, Emperor Commodus, except he's not young, but he would like to get in the ring with those men, that's for sure. Like Commodus played gladiator, he would probably do it, and they would let him win, so it wouldn't matter. That's it. At least no one has to die like they did in the Coliseum. But Trump, he's a con man. He's a grifter. And he doesn't know that having some UFC fight on the White House lawn is a bad look. He's tacky. So, yeah, the Democratic campaign, what is it, the Congressional Campaign Committee, called it out immediately. And this is what gets me. You won't hear this on Fox News. They're not telling us what the secret plan is. It's like what we were just talking about with Ted Cruz, how he said to the rich people, oh, Trump accounts are the first step in privatizing Social Security. See how we did it? We gave it to babies. We gave these accounts to babies because babies aren't seniors. The babies aren't conscious yet. And they can't complain. They don't know Social Security from a hole in the wall. So babies don't complain. But old people do, seniors do. They're not as easily tricked as babies. That's really what he said. We played the clip of it. He said that's why we targeted babies. with this Trump account. You know, Trump accounts are the Republican first step to privatizing Social Security. Remember that. When they come back with, oh, well, we gave you a little piece of privatization in these Trump accounts, which is like $1,000 to every baby. Well, now let's expand that. Play the market. That's what they're doing. And they're going to say, well, why not? It's such a successful program, no matter how much it sucks. Like 401ks, like Republicans replaced guaranteed pensions for life with 401ks. They were very successful in doing that, unfortunately, because the people are dumb. And now that the first 401k generation is retiring, it doesn't look good. They don't have enough to retire on, so they end up having to rely on government assistance anyway. So this is what happens when Republicans get policies passed. They suck. They're not about altruism. It's about greed. So they're not running on we got a plan to fix Social Security. They're not telling us what that plan is. And of course, it's in my article. If you subscribe to the Political Voices Network, please do, and read it, because it details how Trader Trump ran on the exact opposite. Not one penny. I will not cut one penny from Social Security or Medicare. And I will not raise the retirement age by 1 day. That's the promise. Oh, there's a whole litany of them. There's many, many times he said this. That's who Trump is, like Hitler. In the Third Reich, a lot of times I'll get Republicans saying, oh, Hitler is socialist, and here's a clip, or here's a quote. And because they're ignorant, and they are dropouts from meme university. They never read a book in their lives, and they have no intellectual curiosity. They don't know that when Hitler campaigned for seats in the Reichstag, campaigned for himself, they went out all over the place, even speaking to labor unions, and they would adjust the speech depending on who they're speaking to. So let's take Hitler at his word, sort of like when you take Trump at his word. Same thing. You take a con man at his word. I can't believe I voted for Trump 3 times, and now I lost my farm, I lost my house, I can't pay my bills. I can't believe it. Well, we warned you. We were trying to warn you. Well, and we all remember during the State of the Union when the Republicans were like, here, let's play it.
So some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset.
Look, no. Boo.
Let me give you.
Boom. Look at Mike Johnson. No.
My office, I'll give you a copy.
Look at her.
I'll give you a copy
Look at them all.
of the proposal.
Unbelievable, right?
That means Congress doesn't vote.
Liar.
I'm glad to see
Liar.
I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even
see, you're too gracious there. You hear, I don't know, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. No, it is a majority of them. They are all lockstep goons. They do what they're told. I'm not saying it's a majority of it. Why? Why would you say that? Why are you trying to normalize them? Liar! Liar!
I'm not politely not naming
Unbelievable, right? Do we ever hear the apologies from them? Remember when Alito was like, not true, when Obama said that the Citizens United was going to allow all kinds of dark money into our elections? Not true. Not true. Bullshit. Not true. It's 100% true. Now we have the receipts to prove it. So has Alito ever apologized? Of course not. This is who Republicans are. I don't understand how they can sleep with themselves or look at themselves in the mirror, just like I don't understand how Holly Cruz can, or whatever her name is, Heidi Cruz, can sleep with Ted Cruz. How do they sleep with themselves and look in the mirror? Liar! Liar! Well, we have you on tape. And then a reporter from Midas Touch ran into this joker, Representative GOP Rep Bob Whitman, and he asked him about the secret plan to privatize Social Security that Republicans have had since FDR signed it into law. They've been trying to privatize Social Security. And this joker gets on the phone and pretends to take a phone call.
Congressman, what is Mike Johnson's secret plan to cut Social Security?
Look at this.
What are you doing? I'm good. I'm good with that. Yeah, I'll be there in just a few minutes.
No response, sir?
It's unbelievable. It's so clearly not on. He is on his ear keeps hitting the screen and it's bouncing around from his messages. There's nobody on the phone. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, I'm on my way there right now. You're going to meet your fake pal? Is that like Trader Trump's card to Jeffrey Epstein? It's all a hoax? You're meeting your hoax friend?
Heading your way right now.
Heading your way!
Yeah, it's over at 416.
Look, it's the phone is jumping around.
Listen, I appreciate that.
I
I've
appreciate
got some more
that.
efforts that I want to.
Look at that. And they're discussing some kind of effort to help the people they pretend to represent. Some pretend effort to help the pretend people they pretend to represent.
There are actually more things that we have to be working on.
Oh yeah, so many more.
Yeah,
like
sure
what?
that
Like hiding the fact that your standard bearer is in the Epstein files committing crimes against children. Oh, so many things we got to work on. Privatizing Social Security, privatizing Medicare, making the American people lower and lower on the economic ladder. We got to take their health care away. We got to take their retirement away. We got to raise the retirement age. We got to really kick down on these uppity plebs because, you know, the boss, he wants more money. He wants to build an arch. He wants to build a ballroom. He wants to build, he needs war to distract from the fact he's in the Epstein files. War. We got that. We always got enough for war. But okay, I'm heading over to you right now. Okay, my fake friend.
No response, sir.
Look at this.
Yeah, listen, thanks.
Thanks. I appreciate your help.
Really do need some more of your input.
Who are you talking to? Who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah, listen, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe.
More of those things that we need to work on.
More of them.
Yes.
We got to work. See, everybody, I'm working. I'm working for you. I'm pretend working for you.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Listen, I appreciate it.
Oh, yes. Now your fake friend is
Mike
kissing
Johnson's
your ass.
Secret plan to cut Social Security?
He can't maintain. What's that? He looks at the phone. Oh shit. They could see my screen. No, he just keeps going. We saw you didn't hang up. You didn't take a call. You didn't do anything. We know that you weren't on a phone call. But this really does sum it up, of what we're dealing with, right? It really does. It sums up what the Republican Party is, or are, however you put it. It's all a performance. They're acting like they're working for the American people. They're not working for the American people. They're deceiving the American people and harming us. But they'll put on a good act. When they take a fake phone call, they're going to commit to it. That's why I used to take improv classes at the Upright Citizens Brigade. And when you are in a scene, you got to commit. You commit to it. So if you're taking a fake phone call, somebody goes ring ring, you got to pick up that phone. You're on the phone. You got to go. Yes and. I'm on the phone. Yes and. All right. It's amazing, but that's what it is. This is the encounter, as I wrote in the article, the encounter is the Republican Party in miniature. Serving the American people is an act. And they can't even pull that off convincingly. They got to screw that up somehow. The least you could have done was put on, I don't know, call somebody. Call maybe call your, I don't know, you got to have do you have a pal? Call Mike Johnson. Maybe in a minute he'll figure out, oh shit, he must be taking a fake phone call from to throw off a reporter. I'll play along. And I love how the person on the other end is so complimentary. How can anybody answer me this? How does he look in the mirror? Right? How does he look at himself in the mirror, take his phony baloney paycheck, all that stuff, pretend to represent people? How do people vote for that? I got to tell you, if my representative here in New York had done something like that, I would be appalled. I would never vote for them. I would call their office, say, what is this bullshit? What kind of shit are you hiding? What kind of bullshit? What kind of pathetic bullshit what kind of losers do you take us for? Scamming us like that, taking a fake phone call to not answer a question. What's the plan, man? We got the right to know that you're going to rob us. Well, FDR told us he knew who they are. He knew exactly who they were and never missed the opportunity to remind the American people. Here he is in 1936.
Let me warn you, and let me warn the nation against the smooth evasion that says, of course we believe these things. We believe in social security. We believe in work for the unemployed. We believe in saving homes. Cross our hearts and hope to die. We believe in all these things.
There you go.
But we do not like the way the present administration is doing them.
There you go.
Just turn them over to us. We will do all of them. Mm-hmm. We will do more of them. We will do them better. And most important of all, the doing of them will not cost anybody anything.
Right? Is that not the truth? Is that not exactly what Trader Trump says? That's exactly what he said about health care. Healthcare is the easiest deal. It's going to be great. It's going to be the easiest deal to make. Everyone's going to get it. It's going to be free. It won't cost anybody anything. That's exactly what he said. And there was FDR 90 years ago warning us about them. And that's why the Democrats, when we just went over it with Joe Biden. Oh, well, maybe not all of you, maybe some of you. We're entirely too nice. Joe Biden was entirely too nice to the Republicans. I guess that's just in his nature. Too nice. But that's why I'm here, to call them out. And but the Democrats really got to get a grip and do the same. So for the last, I don't know. I was going to do the Ivanka story. Whatever. We could do that maybe tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow, Andrea Brower from Hal Sparks, the associate producer of Hal Sparks Show. She's coming back on. She's a regular. And she'll be hanging out with us tomorrow. Here's Melania. I just had these clips ready. Success. Let's just listen for a second until we can not stand it anymore. Oh, shut your hole.
About how many benefits a person receives.
Really?
But rather about how much independence they achieve.
How dare you? The third trophy wife of a con man. How much independence? Okay, this really pissed me off. This is on the White House, official White House Twitter. They're all hyping up the 250th birthday of America. And here, let's watch it. This is they're likening themselves to the revolutionaries.
250 years.
Oh, listen to that.
The life of a nation. But in another sense, it's really a big moment in the eye of history. On July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath.
Oh.
Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us today. Everything our nation
heroes
has done,
like you,
everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes.
Sounds like he can barely stay
those
awake.
Brief chapters, Americans built this nation from
you hate this
13
nation.
humble colonies
Humble?
into the pinnacle
What do
of
you
human
know about humble?
civilization and human freedom. The strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation
and now
in
you're
all
gonna
of history.
fuck it up.
Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved past through an unforgiving wilderness.
Oh, you
settled
whiny
a
bitch.
boundless
Could you imagine
frontier and tamed the beautiful,
if he was
but
out there?
Very dangerous.
Oh,
Wild
very
West.
dangerous. Very hard.
From
Hard
empty
men had to
marshes
go,
and
right?
wide-open
Masculine.
plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered
no
the
thanks
world's
to you.
mightiest industries.
No
shattered
thanks to you
history's
again.
Monstrous
Oh,
tyrannies,
Reagan.
and we liberated millions
these
from
horrible
the chains
Nazis.
of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror.
Oh, fascism. Fascism is in the White House.
Americans
Have you met
lifted humanity
Stephen
into
Miller?
the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel.
Oh,
And then we launched
no.
mankind into the
All right,
planet
it's like a
with
nightmare.
Much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched
Legacy.
glory of the hardworking patriots
Oh,
who built and
you
defended
stolen
this
valor
country.
salutes.
Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision,
Whiny bitch. Okay, I'm sorry that I had to do that to you. Trust me, I feel it too. The whiny, 1776. We are the greatest nation. Someone hands him that and said, read this, sir. Sir, you're the greatest reader. You're the greatest narrator the world has ever seen. No one can narrate a fake history so stirringly as you. Who's not in the Epstein files, I mean. You're not nowhere in the Epstein files committing crimes against children. Okay, the reason I played that, just to get a glimpse, is because Republicans are the anti-Enlightenment. What do you think that whole new Enlightenment is? What do they call that? The Dark Enlightenment? J.D. Vance's keeper, Peter Thiel, who also funds Curtis Yarvin, they're all connected. J.D. Vance's entire life before politics and now in politics is funded by Peter Thiel, this cuckoo who is a fascist who funds Curtis Yarvin. And they call their movement the Dark Enlightenment, which is an anti-revolution. They're dragging us back to the Dark Ages. And that's not why they call it the Dark Enlightenment. It's because it's the anti-Enlightenment. They're dragging us back to a world where the rich run and rule. Well, I guess it is the Dark Ages, but and like I said, but I'm not sure why they call it the Dark Enlightenment. Maybe it's because of the Dark Ages, but it's probably because they are. This is who they are fundamentally. It's the anti-Enlightenment. It's the destruction of the Enlightenment. The United States was born from the liberal age of enlightenment. America is was not founded on Judeo-Christian values. I know Republicans love saying that. Oh, we were founded on Judeo-Christian values. No, they left a system where the church and state were intertwined to create a system of self-governance founded from the liberal age of enlightenment, where the thinking, which took hundreds of years, many people went to jail for writing such radical tomes, treaties about how we didn't need a king and an aristocracy. That's what this country was founded on. The founders were students of the liberal age of enlightenment. They were men of their time, and we know not when they said all men were created equal, they meant all men, not women, not anyone with darker pigment. This is who they were. But yet, still, they, as students of the liberal age of enlightenment, they created a rather progressive blueprint from which to build upon. And the Republicans are the anti-enlightenment. This is what, it drives me crazy, because it's not just my observation from 20,000 feet. They're posting pictures of Traitor Trump in a crown. They want Trump to be a king. He wants to run again. He will not leave office. We know this. He tried to overthrow our democracy the first maladministration. If he's alive, if he makes it legally and peacefully to the end of his term, he will not leave office. He's not, like Michael Cohen said under oath, if Trump loses, there will not be a peaceful transfer of power. We saw a glimpse of that. We saw the preview. We were able to push it back, to beat it back. But now all of those traitors are out on the street, and he's pardoned them. The ones who aren't back in prison for various crimes against children, many of whom have committed further crimes, the ones, they'll be out here. That's what they want. That's what that slush fund is about. It's about building a brown shirt bunch of stormtroopers to steal the election. So to say that, I just want to set the record straight here. Historically, but Republicans will never. For years, Republicans, I've been saying it for years too, that they had to give lip service to democracy. They had to pretend they were all for American democracy, but secretly, underneath, they were dismantling democracy. They're trying to kick people off the voter rolls. They don't want people to vote, just like Paul Weyrich said. I don't want everybody to vote. The founder of the Heritage Foundation, the Moral Majority, one of their early conservatives that they all look up to, and they still follow Paul Weyrich. What did he say? I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by, how did he put it? Well, he ended it that our leverage in the election goes up as the voting populace goes down. So he was warning the Republicans, don't, what he called the goo-goo syndrome, good government. Don't get trapped in the good government syndrome, because we don't want people to vote. We don't want everyone to vote. We want to win. We want to inflict our dark enlightenment on the American people. We want to steal their Social Security. So you don't tell them you're going to steal. You tell them you're going to expand it. No one's going to go. No one's going to raise the retirement age. It's going to be the best. It's going to be the greatest. It's going to, like FDR said, it's not going to cost anything. And to post a video about the founders, we know that if this were the revolution, they would be the loyalists. There is no doubt. And it's not just me. I'm just lowering the music. It's not just me saying it. It's them. They want a king. They posted a picture of Traitor Trump. Traitor Trump on the official White House website. And this is why he's a traitor. That's why I call him Traitor Trump. What is that? He puts a picture of himself standing next to King Charles, who had to come here and remind the Republicans about balance of power, ironically, on our 250th anniversary. But on the official White House website, they post a picture of the Traitor Trump, and King Charles, and it says 2 kings. That's the caption, 2 kings. And he puts pictures of himself up, in crowns, pooping on the American people. This is not, it's not just trolling. Oh, it triggers the libs. Does it trigger the libs? It triggers any patriot. This is unacceptable. They hate the Enlightenment because the Enlightenment philosophy says that power comes from the people. Rights are universal. There's human rights. Rulers can be removed when they abuse power. That's what they hate. All of these things threaten our wannabe dictator, this insecure autocrat, and his enabling fan club of sycophants and fellow traitors. They rewrite history with this Judeo-Christian value fairy tale. That's what they have to tell each other in order to smuggle their state-sanctioned religion into our Constitution and erase the fact that the Constitution deliberately is secular. It is a deliberate secular document and bans all religious tests for office. But don't tell that to Republicans. They've been trying to whittle away the wall of separation between church and state since the Revolution. The Dark Enlightenment, they've been hiding in plain sight, waiting for this opportunity to drag us back to the system the founders overthrew. Trump is the furthest thing from a patriot in the founding era sense, especially. Because the whole point of the Declaration is that citizens have a duty to overthrow tyrants. That's what it says in our founding documents, that we have a duty to overthrow tyrants, not worship them, not enable them, not hand them unlimited power, to check their power. Don't tell that to Mike Johnson, though. The American Enlightenment centered on natural rights, liberalism. In fact, George Washington himself said, I hope the United States will remain ever on the forefront of liberality. But Republicans are confused. They not only hate America, they're confused by America. John Locke's ideas, natural rights, social contract, the right of revolution, directly inspired the founders. The notion that the people can withdraw consent from an abusive government. You can't do that with a king. The American Revolution, the political foundations, equality under the law, unalienable rights, government by consent, not divine right, not church rule, and definitely not a king enabled and anointed by propagandists on Fox News and their fake Christian cheerleaders. They wouldn't know Christianity. We're going to have John Fugelsang back on the show soon, in a few weeks. And that's why I love his book, The Separation of Church and Hate, because we're taking back Christianity, just like we're taking back patriotism. They're not Christians. Their only holy obligation in Republican Christianity is beating up on marginalized, vulnerable, misunderstood communities, right? Trans people. That's their only holy obligation. Who do you think Jesus would be hanging out with, though, if he came back? Before, of course, Republicans would crucify him again, no doubt. Conservatives, I should say, right? That's who crucified Jesus, the conservatives. So, yeah, okay, we're gone over a little bit. I wish, well, it goes by fast. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for hanging out. We got more to say, and we will say it. We're going to continue to say it. So let's just remind our Trumpanzee relatives and friends, if we are misfortunate enough to have any. I mean, not friends, but I mean Trumpanzee friends. They're rather tiresome and tedious. But the founders, remind them that the founders wrote a constitution with no God in it that banned religious tests for office. And then Trump's press shop, his enablers, go on TV declaring we're a Judeo-Christian nation to justify turning our the system that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us, to justify turning that back into what they overthrew. So, and not just the Christian thing that they are confused about, it's everything else. Divine right, the fact that he puts a picture of himself as a king and that he wants his face on the money and all that proves that Trump not only hates America, he is confused by America. And it's offensive that he's posting. I mean, that, of course, what do you expect? But it is really offensive, and like everything else, it's nothing but performance. They love the founders. They only love the founders. See, they love the bad parts, right? They love the fact that some of the founders were, slave owners, that they enslaved people. They like that. Just like FDR. The only thing they like about FDR was that he put people in camps, the internment camps, which was the stain on FDR's legacy. In fact, his family, the Franklin D. Roosevelt Library, formally apologized for that. But Republicans, that's the only thing they like. That's what I always say when Republicans would sometimes contact me, and they'll say, FDR, put people in camps. I'm like, yeah, I thought you liked that. That's the only thing. They're complaining about it, or are you celebrating it? But, yeah, the irony of Trump, the White House, all of these fake patriots in the Republican Party literally trying to sell revolution while their whole political bowel movement keeps not even drifting, I mean running like a freight train, like a runaway freight train into authoritarianism. Which one is it? In other words, they're not celebrating the Enlightenment roots of America, they're strip mining the past for parts, right? That's what they're doing. They're strip mining the past. We'll take this, we'll take that, we'll pretend, we'll tell. I mean, what the hell does he know about Thomas Jefferson except he was a slave owner? He enslaved people. Maybe he knows that, maybe not. This is a guy that doesn't know that you spell dumb with a B. Nobody knows that. Or that Lincoln was a Republican. All the things that he thinks that nobody knows, that's the things he doesn't know. Nobody knew Lincoln was a Republican. Oh, we do. Lincoln was the first Republican president in a time when the Republican Party was a progressive party that was founded as the progressive antidote to the entrenched power of the Democratic Party of its day, which were pro-slavery. And now the roles are reversed. So that's another thing. Republicans, I'll get contacted by average, the Trumpanzee dupe. They'll say, oh, the Democrats were the slave owners. Yeah, you got to go back to 1860s? Yeah, they were. But now things have changed. Time marches on. Things change. What does it matter what they were called? It's like it doesn't matter what something is called. What matters is what something does. So here, I'll go and I'll harvest something out of the cat litter box, and I'll put it on an ice cream cone and I'll call it ice cream. Tell me if, you know, you want to lick it. All right. I'm really over. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Charlie. APS Radio News. Check out APS Radio and APS Radio News. Download the app or listen to APS Radio, classic rock and oldies all day, and including, and then there's a classical music station. Sometimes we need to do that to decompress from the madness. And Charlie is a great supporter of the show. He helps this show. He helps the community cats. So thank you, Charlie, for all you do to make the world a better place. That is the truth. Become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Please subscribe to my Substack, the Political Voices Substack. This is how we can continue bringing you this content, the progressive content that will win. And thank you, JD Christie, for your super chat. I missed that when it came in. I hope you're still here. All right, my friends, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Tarabuster YouTube channel, the Political Voices Substack, and the Tarabuster Substack. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll have the Anti-Fascist Book Club, as always. And we'll see you, all of that, during the day. Can't believe it's Friday already. We will win, guys. We will. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together. We win. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Art, on the Substack chat. Check out Jonathan Larson's post about Freedom 250 trucks with their whitewashing of American history. I will. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to check that out. Okay, guys. We stick together, we win. And thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. As always, really appreciate it. And Elizabeth, I see you. Thank you, members, Surrender Monkey, members of the channel. Thank you, guys. Hang out with us tomorrow night. That's our casual Friday night hangout, 8:30 to 10:30. And we have fun, too. We stick together, we win. I will see you tomorrow, but on the Substack in the meantime. I'll see you soon.